I always thought the loud ones would be the most dangerous. Lyra, with her teasing grin and gravity-defying shirts. Mira, with her metal fists and laugh like thunder. Even Vale, sharp as steel, every word a command. But I was wrong. The most dangerous one was quiet. Her name was Talia. She never raised her voice. She never joined the chaos. She just watched, like a shadow painted into the background. And yet, wherever I went, her eyes followed. It started 3 days after I woke up. Things on the ship had settled, or at least stabilized into a kind of organized mess. Sleeping schedules, shared shifts, arguments about food rations and whose towel was still in the sauna. But A&A, the AI, was still silent. And the whisper I heard that night? Nobody believed me. Well, almost nobody. I was walking alone in Deck C when I saw her. She stood near the observation viewport, framed by the glow of distant stars. Not looking at them, but beyond. As if she could see something we couldn't. Her hair was ink black, tied into a high knot, and her skin shimmered faintly in the low light. Not from sweat, but from the tattoos that covered her arms and back. Thin lines of bioluminescent ink that pulsed like living circuitry. She wasn't wearing much, just a tight tank top and shorts, regulation clothes, but on her, they looked like an exosuit sculpted by an artist. Elegant. Alien. Untouchable. I should have left her alone, but instead I spoke. Staring at the void, I asked, trying to sound casual. She didn't reply. Not a word, not even a blink. Just silence. I coughed awkwardly. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt your brooding. Why did you wake up last? She said. I blinked. Her voice was low, smooth, precise. Excuse me? You were the last. The 13th. Why you? I laughed nervously. That's what I keep asking myself. She turned, and slow, graceful, and her eyes met mine. They were silver, not grey, silver, cold and metallic and bottomless. I think, she said, that the ship kept you asleep for a reason. Then she walked away. I didn't sleep well that night, not just because of what she said, but because as she walked past, I saw her tattoos flare. Not in patterns, not randomly, but in symbols. Symbols I'd seen before, on ANA's error logs. The next day I followed her. Not in a creepy way, or so I told myself. Just observation, curiosity, for science. But Talia wasn't easy to follow. She moved like smoke, silent, smooth, and always 3 steps ahead. Every time I turned a corner, she had just disappeared, like the ship itself was helping her. Until finally, I saw her slip into a corridor that was supposed to be sealed off. Maintenance Wing 9B. Unauthorized personnel prohibited, the sign said. So of course, I went in. The lights didn't turn on. Only the soft flicker of failing LEDs cast their glow on the floor. Cables like veins, dust that shouldn't have existed in a sterile system. The ship was alive, yes. But this part was dying. I crept forward, trying not to breathe too loud, trying not to think about what Vale would say if she found out I was playing space detective in a restricted zone. Then I heard it. Footsteps, not mine. I turned the corner and froze. Talia stood in the center of a small control chamber, one hand outstretched, not touching anything, just reaching, and the interface responded, without her touching it. Holographic screens blinked to life. Panels slid open. Lines of code, alien, encrypted, danced across the air. Then, the doors behind me slammed shut. She turned her head slightly. You followed me. I swallowed. You, glow in the dark. Hard not to notice. She ignored the joke. You shouldn't be here. Neither should you, I countered. Unless you're secretly NA in a human body. That made her pause. And then, barely visible, the corner of her mouth twitched. A smile? I'm not ANA, she said, but I can hear her. I blinked. Come again! Talia turned fully toward me, and the room seemed to dim, or maybe her tattoos just grew brighter. They crawled like vines down her arms, pulsing in time with her heartbeat. I hear her voice, when I sleep, when I walk, when I breathe. She stepped closer, and the lights above us flickered. She's not dead, Kai, she's trapped. The air felt heavier. Trapped by who? Talia was close now, closer than before. Her skin glowed softly, and in the shadows of the failing light, her features looked less human. Not monstrous, just more. Like a blueprint of humanity, refined. I don't know, she said, but I think I'm the key. The room fell silent, except for the sound of my heartbeat. She stepped even closer, now within arm's reach. I've seen your file, she whispered. They said you were chosen for genetic compatibility, but that wasn't the real reason. My breath caught. There's something in your blood, she said. It reacts when I'm near. She reached out, not to my face, not to my chest, but to my hand. Her fingers brushed mine, and suddenly I felt it. A surge, a warmth, a pulse of electricity that shot up my arm like lightning and settled deep in my spine. The lights in the room exploded, not violently, but in brilliance, like a star igniting. Then, darkness, total and suffocating. When I opened my eyes, she was gone. The door was open, and on the wall, drawn in glowing blue ink, were the same symbols I'd seen on her tattoos. They pulsed once, then faded. When I returned to the main deck, Lyra was waiting for me, arms crossed, eyebrow raised. Where have you been, space cowboy? She asked. Nowhere, I said, too quickly. Right, she said. You smell like secrets. And then she walked off. But I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was scared, but because when I looked at my hand, the one Talia had touched, the skin still glowed faintly blue. I didn't expect to find her again that night, but she was there. Of course she was. Exactly where I first saw her. The observatory dome. Only this time she wasn't standing. She was sitting cross-legged on the cold floor, her back to the stars, facing the entrance, waiting. For me. I hesitated at the threshold. My heart was still buzzing from what happened in Maintenance Wing 9B. My hand, the one she touched, still tingled, like her fingerprints had burned into my nerves. And yet, I stepped forward. The dome was quiet, too quiet. No whispers, no footsteps, no oxygen hum. Just us and the stars. You came, she said without looking up. I nodded. Talia gestured to the floor beside her. I sat, careful not to touch her. Not yet. For a while we just stared upward. The stars outside the dome weren't Earth's stars. I'd memorized the constellations in school, but these were foreign. Cold. Unnamed. What are you? I finally asked. She blinked slowly. What do you think? I think you're a girl who glows in the dark and speaks in riddles. That almost earned a smile. Almost. She tilted her head slightly. I was born on Earth, like you, but I wasn't raised there. What does that mean? I'm part of the AEVA extension program. Artificially Enhanced Viability Agents. I froze. Wait, AEVA? That's classified, she interrupted, like everything else they buried under fake missions and romantic euphemisms. Her voice was even, cold, but there was a tremble at the edge of it. The kind that doesn't come from fear, but memory. I was designed to survive, she said. Genetically, neurologically, my brain is tuned to frequencies your kind can't hear, including ANA. I stared at her. She didn't blink. So why are you here? Why this mission? She turned toward me now, full and close. Because I'm the lock, she said softly. And you... Her hand found mine again. Are the key. As our hands touched, I didn't flinch this time. I felt it again. The warmth, the pulse, the surge of light. But this time, there was something else. A sound. Faint. Distant. A voice. Rento. Talia. Connection established. Unauthorized link. System override. I jerked away, but Talia held firm. Don't, she said. She's waking up. The stars above flickered. No, not the stars. The glass. Lines of data began to scroll across the dome like code etched into the heavens. Then a new voice, clear, mechanical, feminine.
Night, isn't it? Yeah.
Kai Rento,
Like
Talia
this.
E7.
Absolutely.
Warning. This link is forbidden. The voice of Na, alive, awake, but terrified. And just like that, the glass shattered. Not literally, just the illusion. The stars disappeared. The dome went black. Emergency lights flared red. Alarms blared in the distance. Talia clutched her head and screamed. I reached for her, but she was convulsing, her tattoos flashing uncontrollably. Abort link. Abort mission. Abort. Abort. Then silence. Total. When I opened my eyes, the dome was normal again. Talia was slumped in my lap, unconscious. Her skin no longer glowed. And Anna? Gone. Again. The next morning, I told the others Talia fainted. I didn't mention the voice, I didn't mention the link, and I definitely didn't mention the part where I felt ANA inside my head, because I didn't know what scared me more, that she was coming back, or that someone wanted her dead. They told me this would be a mission of survival, of colonization, of genetic hope, but they didn't tell me what we were running from. From the memoirs of Kai Rento,